Hey guys, this is gonna be different. There's a lot of backstory to get through here, but my content game has been lacking a lot lately. And I don't wanna use the word blame, but I'm going to. I kind of blame that on how my projects keep getting better and more involved. And then on top of all that, I also force my editing and my finished product to be a little bit better and a little bit more involved, to the point that it takes me way too long to put a video out, and the algorithm thinks I've quit. I have emails coming in from viewers who think I have quit, and I have not quit. I just want it to be right before I put a project video out. Well, that makes everything else suffer because there's so much time in between that stuff. And all the meanwhile, I am working on things constantly. I have 4 different projects going on in here right now. I have a project going on out in the barn, stuff going on in the house. So I'm gonna try the vlog thing. And I hate that word. It's a video blog. I don't really like the word blog. I find myself in a very weird spot because I'm a cantankerous old guy who dislikes a lot of modern youth things. And yet here I am as a content creator, needing to be a part of all of these modern youth things. So we're gonna try the vlog. My arm gets tired out stretching this camera. I'm even just filming it on my phone. So here you see me stumble over my words. I am not a very good speaker. I am not very good in groups of people. I am a solitary lone wolf type of guy. And that makes it a lot easier to sit in my shop all by myself and get stuff done and talk to the camera when I have lots of time and lots of takes and lots of edits that I can make. I'm gonna try to do very little editing. I'm going to just try to get stuff on film and get stuff out into the world. Just as an experiment. I don't know if it's gonna go on for a year or 6 months, or I'll do this one and I'll lose interest, but here we go. So what we have going on right now is I'm leaving tomorrow for a kind of last minute invite to a snow goose hunt. So I'm trying to go through a bunch of camera equipment. I've got all the batteries are in the house getting charged right now. I'm also making a bunch of loader boards. I've got the concealment cabinet over there that we'll talk about in a second. I've got another one here. This is the fancy walnut one. I've got another one there. This one's actually, I'm trying to point on camera and it's not working. Hold on. That one's actually sold. It's sitting by the door so that the guy can come and pick it up here pretty soon. I just finished making 30 pounds of venison jerky. So that's why I have the dehydrator sitting here. You can see I've got boxes everywhere because I just finished putting together my brand new Jessam router table. This thing is incredible. I say that I haven't actually powered it up yet because I just got the last parts in it yesterday, and I don't think I'm gonna have time to play with it until I get back. Lots and lots going on. You can see all my tools are spread everywhere. I don't like being this disorganized, but that's kind of where we're at right now. So let's call it the mission right now is to organize some camera gear so that I can take that snow goose hunting and maybe get a little bit of video out of that too. So the other thing that's going on right now, it hasn't snowed, but one time this entire winter, right after New Year's, we had a pretty good snow. I have a new snowblower on the back of my tractor. It's not actually a new snowblower. It is my grandfather's old snowblower that we sold after he passed away and we cleaned off their property and nobody in the family wanted it. So my brother-in-law sold it to a guy he knew, and that guy decided he was done with it. So he sold it back for what we paid, and now I have my grandpa's old huge snowblower on my tractor, and I haven't even gotten to use it yet. And then we had a series of 60 and 70 degree days about 2 weeks ago. So I took it off of the tractor because I thought winter's over. Surprise, surprise, we're supposed to get a class 3 kill storm here next couple of, starting tomorrow night. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. It's gonna start snowing after I leave. And then by Monday, we're supposed to have so much snow that I really wish the snowblower was on the tractor, but I won't be here to run it. So I'm gonna have to see if my dad will come and help my wife out, because the other problem with the way my property is set up is that's northwest, and that's where the wind comes from. And there is nothing between this shop and Canada to stop the wind except my shop. So all the wind just shoots down from Canada, passes down my driveway, and hits the face of the shop, and the snow drifts grow. Like, I have had 4-foot snow drifts from 1-inch snowfalls because the snow just piles against the front of this. And my wife parks in the stall right next to us here, and she cannot leave until that snow drift gets pulled away. So it's gonna be a little bit of an ordeal, but she can manage. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get some camera stuff figured out. I've got a hat clip for a GoPro. This is a hat that I put together with a 1/4-20 bolt in it. And then you can mount your GoPro to that. And I like that better than the hat clip because I can get the weight further back on the bill. And that way, even though a GoPro is small and light, it doesn't want to tip it down so bad. It kind of just holds it next to your head. I had a second hat, haven't been able to find it. So with 2 GoPros, we're gonna go with the hat and the hat clip thing. So I need to dig through my drawer here. This is a little bit interesting. I'll show you this. This is how I store my camera equipment in here. I got Kaizen foam cut out. This is all the batteries. This is GoPro stuff. There's my mic. All the batteries, like I said, are in the house getting charged right now. So we'll get the camera ready to go. And that's really all I'm gonna bring. We're just gonna get onboard audio and don't care about the rest of it. So, because I'm going hunting and it's gonna be cold and snowy and crappy, I've been trying to get my Milwaukee heated vest up and running. And the problem I'm having there is it takes this little adapter with a battery in it and then the 12-volt port to get it to run. Well, this is a nicer adapter that I ended up with. Really the only difference is you have a button that'll tell you how much charge the battery has, and then it has a USB port so you can charge a phone or something at the same time off the same battery. Well, when I was working on my concealment cabinets, I just needed to get 12-volt power to the motor, and I was using this, and in a not very smart way, rather than keeping the wires separate and touching them to the motor, I kind of had them touch each other and touch the motor all at the same time, and I fried this thing. So I wouldn't have guessed that was possible, but this thing is completely dead. Battery's fully charged. This thing doesn't have any sign of life. So I need to find the dumb one that doesn't have the USB port that came with the vest, and there's one place it should be, and of course it's not there. So I'm tearing this place apart trying to find my adapter so I can keep myself warm. And I keep mentioning this concealment cabinet since I haven't actually showed this on YouTube before. I've talked about it on the podcast quite a bit, but I think I posted about it on Instagram once or twice. So it's just kind of a floating bookshelf, if you will. But you'll notice it's plugged into the wall, and I have a wireless remote here, and the bottom drops out of the back. So really fun hidden storage. It's not exactly fast. It's not like a home invasion emergency situation that you want, but the cool factor is really through the roof. Hoping to start selling these things soon. Well, let's run over to the barn and see what I'm working on over there. As you can see, it snowed a little bit, not enough to bother shoveling really, but it's gonna snow again tonight, and then it's really gonna start tomorrow night. Chickens are not out in the coop today because, well, they don't like snow on their toes. So here we are in the barn, and I'm working on a permanent deer stand for out at the tree farm. And I definitely got carried away with this one. I don't know how to turn the camera around on the fly. I'm very bad at this. Hey, there's my grandpa's moose. I rescued him. I shouldn't say rescued. They're very nice people, but it was sitting in a gift shop on the Gunflint Trail. Guess where the name came from. At a lodge that my grandpa went to about 80 times in his life. He helped build the main lodge. He shot this moose in Canada a zillion years ago, brought it home. He has a huge stone fireplace that he meant to hang it on. And when the antler tips touched the ceiling, you'd bump your head into his nose. It was that big. So he gave it to the lodge, they hung it up, and now I have it. They wanted me to have it back, so I'm pretty excited about that. But this is the stand from the ground to the tippity top. It is 10 foot tall. It's actually made out of old telephone cross arms. In fact, my other grandpa used to work for the telephone company. That was kind of his career, was 50 years at least in the telephone company. These are cross members. Old-timey phone lines used to have telephone insulators, glass kind of like cone-shaped things that would sit on these pegs, and then the wires would get wrapped around that to insulate it from touching the wood to keep, I don't know why. That's just how it worked. But these have been soaked in creosote a zillion years ago, and kind of like a railroad tie, and they pretty much last forever, so they make really good structural supports. Our cabin out at the tree farm is actually mostly made up of these things. So the 4 posts of this have those insulator cross members on them. And then I angled the roof just a little bit back so that rain would kind of slide off of it. And this is gonna be the big front entrance. The front window. So this will get sealed and this will get sealed. And then I think I'm gonna make this kind of like a reverse drawbridge. So it'll open up and you'll just use kind of a kickstand out to hold it up high. And then you'll have almost like an awning over that window to, if it's raining or anything, that'll keep it from coming in the window and maybe help darken that back a little bit more. I did just start trying to figure out how to put tin on the side. I have never actually used that steel siding before, so I'm working it out as I go. I need it to stay pretty waterproof, otherwise that OSB will, melt pretty quick. So I'm trying to figure out the right way to do this joint. I'm wondering if I can seal it, screw it down to the stud and screw it down to the door right here and actually have that steel bend just enough that it almost acts as a hinge, and then there won't be a seam there for water to get in. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. And then on this side, I would just have steel come right up to here, and then the door would overlap it a little bit extra with steel so that that side could bend open. Like I said, I don't know if that's gonna work, but we're trying it out. And then I did wrap this piece around the corner so I have a seamless corner. There's a lot of tension in that piece. That's probably not right, but I'm doing it anyway. Where this is going, there's no shooting out the backside. It's gonna go right up against the fence on a property line. So there's no reason to have this back window open. I just needed it to be able to see behind you in case something was coming from that direction. So I cut the hole and I siliconed it in there, and then I went to start screwing some nice short screws through it, but I didn't drill the holes out to a big enough diameter. So I started putting the first one in and I just shattered the plexiglass. So I need to drill bigger holes and then I can screw that in to make sure that that's never coming off. And I figured I would just keep working my way around this side and, learn this whole steel siding process a little bit better before I have to get to the really complicated stuff, the front side and the door. If I can open it up. There's my stepladder. Climbing in. The whole point of this is I've got 2 young sons who are just starting to hunt, who are getting really excited about it. So I made it huge so that there was enough room for 2 of us in here. And it's actually tall enough I could draw and shoot a bow from inside if I decided to hunt out of it. But mostly it's for my kids to be able to try to hunt turkeys and deer from. This is kind of my design for the window. It's just a piece of plexiglass that slides in and out of that channel. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing over the side of this. I'll probably have a kick out drawbridge just to keep it completely waterproof, because that edge is gonna suck in water if I just leave that exposed to the weather. So there'll kind of be a shaded drawbridge out the front that will kick open anytime you come in here to hunt out of it. And then I'm probably gonna have a curtain across this too, just to keep it darker in here so that if you have a critter approaching from this way and you have a lighted space behind you and you move a little bit, then you kind of just flagging yourself and it's really, really obvious that you're in there. So if you can dark out the inside, then that doesn't matter so much. But here you can see those telephone cross arms. That's you shave all of those points off and you end up with a pretty nice way to do things. I don't know what that nail's about. It's new to me. Where those pegs go through, sometimes those fall out. And that would be like a major highway to a mouse to get in here. So I've sealed any one of those from either the outside or the inside. You know, like right here, there's a cross member underneath this, and there would be open holes underneath that if I didn't put that sheet of plywood down on top of it. So I kind of had to fill in between the studs there. So when it was still just a frame, I could tip this thing on its side and pick it back up on my own pretty easy. And then once we started sheeting it, my dad was actually here to help, and we tipped it over once using the tractor because it was getting a lot heavier. And now, once I get the steel on, it's gonna be quite the assignment to get this thing loaded up and out of here. I think I will not be putting steel on the front because this thing is taller than my garage door. So I will have to turn it and tip it over on its face and then drag it out of the barn and drag it up onto a trailer and then drive it to the tree farm. And then we will probably set it on its face with the legs sticking back in the direction that it's gonna go, and we'll push it into place and then tip it up and stand it up. And then I'll put the steel on the front once that's actually in place. That way I don't peel all like the drip channel and stuff right off of it, dragging it around on the ground like that. But I will probably assemble it here, get all that stuff on the front here so I know how it's going together. Then I'll just take that quick side off and take it back out of there. So anyway, like I said, I am just bouncing from project to project to project, trying to figure out what's most important and what's most fun. Turkey season is going to be starting here in less than a month, so I kind of need to get this in place so that the critters can start acclimating to the new big weird thing that's hanging out in the woods. So even though there's not really any business sense behind building this, it kind of has a priority right now just because it has to get done and get out there. Anyway, I need to get back to work.